Gentlemen, my brethren.
Yes.
Everybody turn your volume down. How y'all doing?
Hey.
Everybody good?
Awesome.
Not too bad.
Let's get some show sharing and that kind of stuff going real quick before we jump into it. Everybody watching in TV land, I guess I have to ask this again when a few more people have rolled in, but we certainly want you to share the show. And hey, TJ, share the show and help us increase our viewership. Everybody feeling all right before we jump right in?
Yes, sir. As well can be expected.
I don't know if I want to peel that back. Ladies and gentlemen, We have the usual suspects, and it's really all usual suspects tonight because we have the Glenn Murray of 220 Communications, Robert Hazard, the lover of a life, Mel Robb, the professional eater and entrepreneur, our favorite guest. He replaced Rob as our favorite guest. Kennery, the voice of melodious magic microphone Smith. So it's all the what's wrong, Mel?
How Glenn talking about he the youngest one on the show and he got to put his readers on to share the damn show?
Wow.
Yeah, between his readers and your gray hair, y'all can really just take it outside.
I've been gray since I was 11, bro.
You've been old man since you was 11 too. Your ass has just been old for a long time. That's all.
Wow. Y'all still younger than you. So here we go.
Hey man,
I didn't send for Mel today. I did not send for him.
But did you come for him? That's the question.
That's just it.
Right.
Pause. No, sir.
Sean, you already on that probation list. Don't start.
Emma.
Yeah, you know why.
Hey man,
green room activities.
I'm super excited, man. We'll mention it again as we go. But not only are we going to be down at the Black Women's Expo this week,
woohoo!
August 21st and 22nd. I think we have a 12 o'clock start on Saturday and a 1 o'clock start on Sunday. Is that right, Glenn? Yeah, you want to pay attention? You want to stay with me?
I don't know.
I said your name and you jumped like I asked you a question in 5th grade. Like, oh, I'm sorry.
No, I was like, I know he's gonna ask me and I don't know the answer. That's why I jumped.
Okay. Well,
that is correct.
That's what I thought. That's what I told people.
I don't know because I ain't got my list of demands filled yet, so I might not be there. I'm still debating.
Oh, you ain't got your demands met?
Nope.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you don't, I won't see you. And here's what it is.
all that love.
We'll be all right without you. Just be one less ball head, brother. But what I was gonna say is, and the irony is, our guest tonight is gonna be with us on Saturday. So the one, the only Kennery Smith will be rocking with us in Mel's absence on Saturday, and then Mel will be back in his rightful place on Sunday. So we're excited. No introductions needed tonight. It's all the regular cast, the usual suspects. So let's jump right in, man. This is something that hit me earlier this week, and I'll present the question, then I'll tell you why it landed on me. So I want to know, as men, because all of you are men that I know personally well enough that you can navigate close friendships with ladies. So I know that you all have platonic friendships that are near and dear to your heart. So when those friendships enter into spaces of trouble with their relationships, and I'm talking strictly with your heterosexual female friends that have relationships with men, when those relationships get into stormy, rough waters, how free are you in giving advice? Do you temper your advice at all, or is there a bro code or a man code you're thinking about, even though this is your girl? Are you concerned about your relationship with the guy after you give your advice? And I'll tell you why I asked that. I've mentioned a couple of times that I had a good friend that, our relationship dynamic changed and I didn't know why. And me and Mel had some side conversations about, why, he thought it probably was. And what I realized is that I ended up doing some work for her and her guy's energy toward me was real funky. It was cool, but it was disingenuous. And I realized that was why she distanced herself from me. it was because he had the issue with me, not her. And I never said anything bad about him, never badmouthed him or anything, but I was very candid with her about what I saw in terms of the relationship and what it was going to look like going forward after they had some of these really tragic challenges. And so it just put it on my brain, like, is that something that we should do differently, with our lady friends, or, is it cool to talk to them about, relationship stuff? Kennery, come on, man. Let me hear from you first.
Well, I'm going to start with this. It depends on her, because this seems like your situation where she went back and said, and Sean said. If it's that type of person, then I'm out of it, because I don't need that blowback if it's come that way. I don't really care about the guy getting upset with me, but I would rather not have that type of drama in my life, because I'm talking to her. I care about my friend. So if she's having problems with this brother and I can see something that needs to be addressed, then I'm going to tell her, but I'm going to tell it to her in confidence as a friend. And I expect her to not bring me up, because that's going to cause all kinds of other dynamics. Because why is he telling me? Why are you taking advice from him? What's going on between y'all? That whole So
right or wrong, I think the assumption is always that you have those conversations in confidence. And I've had that happen.
You can't make that assumption, bro.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Mel, why don't you jump in and share your thoughts?
First of all, we the noobs. So dude gonna be mad anyway.
He's gonna be mad anyway. Anyway.
But I got two things that I generally tell friends, and these two pieces of, or these two precursors are what I tell male and female. I'm gonna get to the female, but this is what I tell everybody. I say, number one, there are two sides to every story, and usually somewhere in the middle is the truth.
Indeed.
Right. And then I say the only person that is in your situation 24 hours a day is you. So what I'm going to tell you is just based off of the information you've given me. I haven't been there. I don't know his side or her side or whatever. So just based off of the limited information that you're giving me, this is what I see. Unless I've been around the person or we've had ample conversation about their relationship or something like that. At the end of the day, I do care about my friends. I do have some situations where I just stay out of it, because I know no matter what I tell them, they're going to do what they want to do anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things. But I do have situations, and I err on the side of right. I have lady friends that I will tell them, you are dead wrong. You need to apologize. What you did was funky. It was foul. It was whatever, but you asked. So take what I'm telling you. You know what I'm saying? So I again, but it's based off of the limited information that I have.
Yeah.
That's just where I'm at with it.
Before I ask Rob to jump in, what's fascinating about this particular situation is that, because I would never do that, much like you probably wouldn't, Mel, I would never say you need to do A, B, or C, stay with this guy, leave this guy. I would never do that. What I did present to her based on something tragic that happened and when it happened, and it was on such a significant day, I remember asking her, is she going to be able to navigate that day every year? Are you prepared for, the blowback of this every year on this day? Or, you gotta think in terms of that. If you still want to move forward, and ask yourself if you're equipped to do that. That was like the most challenging thing that I said in all of it. You know what I'm saying? So but again, it begged the question. Robert Hazard, lover of life, you got thoughts?
I do, and I've got advice. I'm typically going to try to listen objectively, as Mel and Kennery have already said it. I mean, we kind of look at things a little differently there. I'm always looking to see, where the person that I'm talking to, since I know my friend, I'm going to try to give them balanced feedback and get to the real core. If they're wrong, they're wrong. But I'm not gonna dog out the brother in those situations, because again, there's some emotional stuff that goes on, as well. But if I can offer up some balanced feedback, I'm going to do that and let them make the decision.
what I will say is I respect the fact that everybody is not different, and so the friends that I have that I think I can go there with, I'll go there with, and the ones that I think I can, I don't. I have some friends that it's a whole lot I would say, but I don't think that they're equipped necessarily to handle that. And so this could have been just an error in judgment on my end. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking that this is somebody who can handle it on that level, and the reality was they could not. Glenn, what do you think, man?
I had to take myself off mute. Sorry.
Yeah, I figured.
No, I think I try to call it down the middle because I have a lot of female friends, and I hear a lot of stories, and I try, like Mel, I really try to look at it from both sides, because there is a shade. Sometimes some friends will come to you and want you to be on their side, no matter what, whether they're right or wrong, and I try to call them out for that. And then there are some that just have some blind spots to certain men, and you have to let them see that as well. Now, conversely, I've been the dude that men have given friends advice about, and it was shaded with a lot of jealousy and a lot of, I won't say the word, but a lot of stuff that was like, yeah, okay, that wasn't advice. That was some stuff he did that he's projecting onto me. Yeah. So you can tell when a dude is actually giving advice and when they're giving shade.
Yeah, because that's the other. If the dude is really not a solid dude and there's game involved, he's going to try to shape that as if you have interest in the lady.
Right.
That's the way he saves himself.
Right.
Is to make it like your concern is not about your friendship, but your concern is about the fact that you really want her.
Right.
He's trying to get out the friend zone.
Right. Exactly. And if the dude is giving his girlfriend advice about you, and he's trying to get himself out the friend zone, he's gonna make you look like the dog of the century. Mm-hmm. You can tell it's like code words where he'll talk about what he knows and what he generalizes you to be doing, whether you're doing it or not.
Yeah,
and on the receiving end of that too.
It sounds like everybody's position is pretty much the same. It depends on the friend and whether or not you think she can handle it, but you're also going to be honest with her, and you're not gonna, But I guess my real point was it's when he's out of bounds and he's out of bounds. Are you gonna go hard in the paint on it, or are you gonna say, hey, they're grown, let it play out? Because what's gonna happen at the end of the day is if you ever had that advice to offer and the friend finds out you had that advice to offer and you didn't, it's very easy for them to say, I wish you would have said something. I wish you would have pulled me to the side. But all things being equal, you can say that in the aftermath, but could you have handled it in real time? You know what I'm saying?
It's difficult. Like if you know a dude that's dated two of your friends and they don't have any common bond, you're the common denominator, not them.
Mm-hmm.
But the dude, so his history with one friend, and now he's dating another.
Yeah,
that's when it really gets prickly.
Yeah, and in Chicago, that could happen very easily.
That has
very
easily.
I've
been in that situation. Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Hey man, let's move on.
You mean like me dating Sanaa Latham before Rob and Glenn?
I think she called me the other day though.
Cut Mel's mic now.
Yeah.
Hey Rob, by the way, I saw Sanaa on a show and she didn't have that glow she had when she was with me.
Oh, I think she called me the other day. I just couldn't get to my phone.
Yeah,
but
she wasn't glowing like when she was with me. It was like I was like, oh, Robert, that shade.
That glow with you, Glenn, was the aftermath of me.
Wow,
Really?
That's what that was.
Robert,
I'm sorry, Sean. What were you saying? Go ahead, sir.
I was telling Robert that the problem is that he thought she called him. She did not.
No, I have a number locked. I have a number locked in the phone, bro.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I do.
Well, being
what her social security number?
Nice about all of y'all.
You got a social security number. You ain't got a phone number. Bro. Must be a social security number.
Let me check.
You're trying to steal her identity,
right? You stole her identity.
Why I gotta have a social security number? Why can't I have a number?
You can't. Because you can't.
I mean, it's like 1-800 call Sanaa. What's the deal?
Not our number.
Wow.
Yeah, that's not what that is. Hey man, word is they are making some changes with the whole OnlyFans culture. A lot of people, I'll just say, have during the quarantine found a revenue stream with OnlyFans, and began, that's your OnlyFans page. OnlyFans to block sexually explicit videos starting in October. And there was some people getting paid. Do you hear me getting paid of OnlyFans? And so, the question I have now is, are we gonna see all the OnlyFans ladies behind the counter at Denny's? I mean, what's going on? They got to go get regular jobs now,
Yeah, they're gonna start their own little websites where you can pay them. Venmo and PayPal and all those other payment methods. They can start their own little thing.
How many of y'all credit cards am I gonna see in the history of OnlyFans?
I've never been to an OnlyFans page.
I haven't either.
I haven't either. I don't even know. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Hey,
but
Mel,
okay.
but be clear. I'm not saying I'm opposed. I'm just
right. I'm just saying I've never been.
I've never been. I'm not at all pretending like I wouldn't go. But that's pretty funny, man. But at the same time, man, hey, kudos to them, man. We all have to figure out ways to, to get our green, man. And if they can do it that way and it's all legal and above board, then good for them. But I guess that's going to change now,
The crazy part of that for me is OnlyFans changing its business model. Like, I need to find articles and figure out why. Like, if it's working, why are you changing it? You know what I'm saying?
Are they getting
I don't think
from somebody else?
I'm sure they're making a nice chunk off of that.
It might come down to something political. Is it backed by the left, backed by the right? It's backed by the right.
I mean, at the end of the day, you got people paying for it. It don't matter. The left and the right, they cards on file.
Right.
For somebody on OnlyFans.
Oh, the production team says there have been some child porn accusations.
So why don't they just cut that part?
Yeah, you can age verify.
Right. Because that's got to be a big chunk of change, man, that they would be giving up. And maybe, hey, and let's be real, maybe that's the announcement they're making. October is a ways off. Maybe that's the announcement they're making while they move whatever they need to move to by October have something else, in place.
First they close Arnie's on Sibley's, and now this.
First the Fat Boys break up.
First they close What's Poppin', now they close Arnie's.
Next thing you know, Pornhub is going down, and I won't stand for it.
What's Pornhub, Sean?
Yeah, right, Glenn. Yeah.
I don't know these. I don't know these sites.
I don't know these arties and.
Yeah.
I think y'all need to check your histories. I think y'all need to check
your nose is growing. Look, Kennery's a self-proclaimed church boy, and he know what those are. So
That's what's happening.
Church boys.
Am I?
It's always.
I don't know if you self-proclaimed. I just labeled you. That's where we met. So.
Right. Well, you remember that scene with Eddie Murphy and the fire and the smoke and walking into the church?
Me being a hat wearer, man, they used to say, hey, you got to throw your hat in first, and if your hat don't come flying back out, it's safe for you to go in. Yeah, that's, Hey, man, this is interesting.
They mistake me for a preacher, so.
I don't know why.
I don't get that problem. I do.
Really?
You don't look like a preacher to me. You look like you dare to pick up women to me.
He meant like Bishop Don Juan. That's what
that fits.
That's what he meant.
Hey,
I don't like none of y'all. I'm not coming Saturday or Sunday. I'm done. I'm done with this show.
Yeah, okay. This show is done with you. How about that? Hey man, this is a really let's get away from men and women for a minute, man. And this is a really interesting question when it came, because to me this kind of affected my family. It didn't affect my family, but it made me think about my family. So is it realistic right now in this climate to buy a gun for fear of a coming civil war? And I'll jump out here first. My family and I made the decision that we were going to all go get our conceal and carry so that we can protect ourselves, because the climate has become wildly volatile. And I think that you have to think that way. You have to think about protecting yourself. I was out with a frat brother of mine Tuesday night, and we rolled up to a place we were going. My second time out, since the pandemic, doing something social, and we pulled up, and my dude went under his shirt and started taking stuff out the cartridges, and and I was like, oh, I didn't know you was getting down. I didn't know you was getting down like Mel. Mel got Mel got a 15-room house and 16 guns with a gun in every room. So, I mean, you just keep one on him, And I was like, oh wow, So he told me that him, his fiance, everybody had equipped themselves, and so. That's certainly the goal that my family has in mind. But what do you guys think about it?
Well, we got a lot of stuff going on within and without. So it's
you're right. Look at my Kerry Washington meme. Thank you.
It's kind of par for the course these days. Well, let me say this: my older brother was murdered because he was in the wrong place at the wrong time and allowed a gun to give him less common sense in what he did when he was approached with someone with a gun than if he had not had one. So I'm kind of in the middle somewhere on that.
Yeah.
But I think the old adage of better to have and not need.
Not needed than needed and not have it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. And I understand your baggage, for lack of a better word, with it. Absolutely. But that also, stresses the fact that if you're going to do that, you need to have a certain mentality. Like, you can't get it with a cowboy mentality.
Right.
Because it's gonna go bad. You have to get it with a self-protection mentality, and as our production team is suggesting, you have to be serious about the training component. And so, I just keep stalling, but I definitely intend to equip myself that way. Robert, what about you, man?
Yeah, we've had these kind of conversations before. Sorry, Kennery, for your loss. I mean, it's definitely a tough thing, and my position is this: I think that gun violence is on the rise. We already know that, but I think that it comes down really, Sean, to a mental state. Some people today are not mentally capable of handling guns and the emotion that comes with it. Because if you have a gun, you're gonna have to shoot somebody. I mean, really, if you pull that gun, it's just like the police. You're pulling it, you need to shoot, or be prepared to shoot. So my stance is changing a little bit. I today don't own a gun, but I'm looking to get one with bullets when they're available, as well, because there's a shortage. But man, I really think that the people that own the gun should really make sure that there's some mental training that goes into that as well, because we're finding today in the Black community that we're shooting ourselves, we're shooting each other. So that's probably a bigger problem there. And I mean, it happened today with some kids. So we just got to do the right thing if we're gonna have or feel that we need to have a gun in our home to protect ourselves and our family.
That's always been my concern, because to be honest with you, I have long had a temper problem. And
I wanted to talk to you about that after the show, but okay.
Whatever.
That's why you cussing us out in the green room. That explains it now.
And what I was gonna say is, you wouldn't know that because way back in my teenage years, I started, managing it, so that most would find it hard to believe that I do have a temper problem. But if it's triggered correctly, you'll get it live in concert.
Triggered.
Right away. And so that used to be my concern, is that, I would have that, and that trigger would kick in, and then I wouldn't be able to necessarily navigate it. I don't think that about myself anymore. But I know that is a concern, like my older brother, he's got a bad temper as well, you know. So I think, like Robert says, you have to have a certain temperament. You have to be prepared. It's like Mahershala Ali said about microphones. You know, they were talking about social media and that kind of thing, and he was saying everybody that has access to a microphone doesn't know the responsibility, or isn't ready for the responsibility of having a microphone. And a gun is the same way. So everyone that has one, you have to understand the responsibility that comes with it. But I do think that based on the way things are going, when we talk about, you know, the possibility of civil war and that kind of thing, we need it because they're equipped. I don't know any other way to say it. I mean,
there are a few black militias.
Yeah, they're on the rise now, and I like to see it. You know, I would be interested in what you know, Mel thinks about those black militia groups, since he's probably among us most seasoned and comfortable when it comes to firearms. But what do you think, Mel, about the rise of the black militia groups?
Well, a couple of things to go back. My family's from the South, so guns have always been a part of our life, just because in the South it's just the way of life, you know, and it's for hunting and protection of the house. But we learned how to shoot, you know, rifles and shotguns and handguns, but it was more so for sport and for hunting and all of that other stuff. But growing up in the city, the need to carry or whatever, I mean, it's a couple of things. I just want to hit a couple of things you guys hit. The need for training is super serious, because as of now, in the state of Illinois, which is where we're based out of, to apply for a firearms owner identification card, there is no training. It's just a background check.
I've had one.
You know, so we saw during the pandemic all of these people that got these FOIA cards who had never shot a gun before, rush to the store, buy a gun that they've never shot. Right? You know, people say, well, what kind of gun should I get? And what do you recommend? I recommend one you're good with. You know what I mean? Like the Glock, Sig, you know, Berettas. I can't tell you that, because it's all in how does it fit in your hand? How well do you shoot with it? Are you committed to training with it? You know, people are like, well, I want something that I can hide. Well, the shorter the barrel, the more recoil you're going to have. So, you know what I mean? It's going to be jumpy. There's so many things that go into it. Number one, training, important. Number two, responsibility. There was a thing on Instagram that I saw the other day where a young mother was killed by her 4 or 5 year old because a gun was laying around the house, an armed. You know what I mean? And I think it belonged to her boyfriend or something, but a loaded firearm was laying around the house. You know, now I know people.
That's a responsibility issue.
That's a responsibility issue. Now I know people that keep loaded fire, but they don't have small children. You know, they got them in their house loaded and not in the safe, because they don't want to have to punch some numbers when somebody breaking in, if somebody breaks in. So that's the second thing. Third thing, militias. You know, well organized and followers of the law. You have a right to do it. Period. Point blank. There are other groups that do it. There are gun clubs that do it. So as long as it's well organized, followers of the law, and you're not out there like you got something to prove.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Number one, if your skin is of a darker hue, like there's no way, and I'm not even talking about the Capitol issue in Washington, D.C. I'm talking about in Michigan, where armed militiamen were outside of the state capitol making demands and all types of stuff like that. There's no way that anybody with any melanin or pigmentation in their skin could have been outside of a state building with an AR-15 doing anything.
Right.
You know, a little kid got shot with a play gun, let alone some grown men in front of a state building with the real one. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's that. So all of these things, and I really don't think, honestly, I think we're a bit of a ways away from a civil war or a race war.
Do you think that's possible?
Yeah, but I think we're a ways away. And some people say I'm over optimistic. I think crazy stuff is going on, but for America as a society to operate the way that it does, if something like that were to happen, I think the government and the Coast Guard and military branches and all of that other stuff would mobilize so fast, because and not necessarily that they're not in support of it, but because of how we look to the outside world and what our position is to the outside world. It would be very difficult for America to have a civil war on any scale and not be looked at in the outside world as this is a perfect opportunity for us to take advantage of what's going on in America. I think it would be really difficult for that to be pulled off at any scale. Now, might there be some incidents? Yeah, but when you talk about a war, that's something that goes on for a period of time. You might get 48 hours of something before, proper resources are deployed. And that's a long time, but I don't think all out. Me personally, I don't think that.
Glenn, what do you think, man? What do you think about
so about the whole Civil War thing? Yeah, I think we're a long way away from that. I think there are groups that want it to happen. I think there's a subset of Americans.
But do you think we should be equipping ourselves?
Well, yeah, I think we should equip ourselves, but I think we should equip ourselves just for life in general. I mean, if you live in Chicago in the city limits, you need to be concealed carry. I'm sorry, you do. You need to protect yourself.
You really do.
Yeah, and like Mel, I mean, I grew up in the South, so handling a gun was never an issue. I knew how to handle a gun from age 6.
I thought you only shoot at the pretty ladies.
All right, we're going to ignore you. But I mean, I have no problem. And like Robert said, it's not just about protecting yourself against other people. It's protecting yourself against people that look like you too. Sorry, you may have to kill somebody first that looks like you before you have to kill somebody that doesn't. And that's real.
And yeah, well, not only that, because most of the time when you move around with people that look like you.
Right.
I don't know if anybody saw that video of the young man, and he was actually a block away from my old high school. But young guy was he decided he was going to carjack a dude just east of 103rd and Cottage. And the guy was pumping gas, and he rolled up on him. And, sometimes you roll up on something and you don't realize what you're rolling up on, man.
He's the wrong person.
Man, he picked the wrong dude. And that dude was nice with his.
He was a sheriff.
I think he was, man.
He was a sheriff. It was 2 guys that tried to jack him.
Yeah.
And the guy was a sheriff, yeah.
Put that dude down so quick, man. And even the young man's mother, she could only say, I understand what he did. My child was out of order. He was out of pocket. It was just brutal to watch, but it also, gave you some humility in terms of what we're walking around with and dealing with, day to day. Kennery, did you have something on it, man?
Well, I just think, like Glenn and Mel was saying, it used to be a time where knowing how to handle a gun was not a big deal. It was kind of just part of, you grew up, you got taught. If there was an older person, in the family, you just got taught, and that was that.
We shot on New Year's Eve, and my father let us shoot right into the ground.
Right, but the thing of it is, it's like I don't understand how some people don't ever learn how to drive. So you might not ever plan on learning how to drive, having to drive. You might have somebody that drives you around, but you should know how, because you never know, if you get in a situation where you've got to pick up a gun reluctantly or otherwise, you should actually know how to use it. That should just be part of your DNA. So, and whether you take it further than that is up to you. If you own one or anything like that, that's a personal choice. But yeah, I think everybody should know how.
Yeah. And if you get your concealed carry and you get your weapon, you need to have some insurance to protect you as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because you'll have people that'll break into your house, you shoot them, and they'll sue you for shooting them for breaking into the house. I mean, it happens. So
as a long-term representative of Legal Shield, I recommend our gun owner supplement. You can get that at my website, theplanforyou.com. Theplanforyou.com. Go ahead, Raj. You can put that in the theplanforyou.com. Legal Shield. We do have a gun owner supplement to go around with.
Yeah, good salesperson knows how to do
it. Hey man, it's 9:35 p.m. and I'd like to pause for just a second and ask everybody that's watching to please share the show. If you haven't before, we're always looking to increase our viewership. Part of that comes with those that rock with us, sharing the show and making sure that their audience, their network, their social network gets exposed to the show. So take a minute right now, if you can, hit share and post the show to your page. We greatly appreciate it.
One closing thing, Sean, on this gun thing.
Yes, sir.
I think one of my instructors said it best. If you're going somewhere where you feel you need a gun, don't go there.
Right.
Don't go.
Exactly.
Right. You're going where you feel you need to. Like and especially if you're just going to hang out. Now, if you got to go pick up your grandmama from the projects and you got to go, that's different. But if you're going,
last time you was there, Ray and Blue was looking for you.
And
right.
Like,
if you're going somewhere where you feel you need a gun, don't go. All right, sorry, Sean. Go ahead, sir.
No, but that's very valid, man. I think that's and I think as we get older and more seasoned, we think like that. Older guys think like that. Like we don't go anywhere where we expect trouble to be. But for younger guys, that's part of their machismo. Is that they're still brave enough to go into these places where there is an element of danger and everybody knows that. That's part of their machismo, I guess, if you will. And so I'm just glad that as you get older and you get more seasoned, that's not something that appeals to a seasoned guy. We don't want no trouble, even if we can turn the whole spot out. We don't want no trouble, Now, if we have to turn the whole spot out, we're equipped to do that. But we're also willing to do everything we can to not turn the whole spot out. Hey, man, let's switch gears a little bit. And let me ask you, I'm going to ask, and he's smiling because he know I'm coming his way. I'm going to ask Robert. I want to give you one of two options. I don't know which question would be easier for you.
Give him the harder one.
Give him the harder one.
Yeah.
He's a lover of life. He wants the hard questions.
I can handle it, brother.
You can handle it. And before I do that, Mel, I got a question for you. Have you done something different with your audio, brother?
Have I done something different? No.
Yeah. Did you slide some new equipment in on us on the audio?
No, bro. There's no mics, no hidden mics.
You sound really clear though, man.
You really do, man. You sound distinctly. You always sound good. Don't get me wrong, but you sound like you somewhere between Kennery and Robert. Kennery is nice. Robert is like you can hear his heart beating. You kind of,
Nah, I'm not at home. I'm around the corner at my aunt's house, but I brought my computer with me, so maybe
the acoustics or something.
The acoustics of her office might be different than mine.
Because you sound. This is maybe the best you've sounded ever. I was like, did this dude buy a microphone? Just didn't tell him.
Nah, bro. I'm gonna have to up my game. No, I can't have it.
Kennery, give me your old mic, then, bro.
Who was on here a couple of weeks ago that sounded so good? We were like, they sounded Kennery good.
That was Robert when he got his new mic.
That was Robert, wasn't it?
When he got his new mic.
It was Robert, but Lou last week sounded good like that too.
Yeah, he did.
But anyway, here's my question, Robert. Nipplegate, Robert.
Yeah, I don't even remember now. I don't even know how to answer. It's been so long.
I didn't ask it.
Okay. Yeah. Let me take a drink.
Yeah, you might need a drink. You might need
two.
Have you ever encountered a woman that was more of a freak than you thought after you started dating her? Like you couldn't keep up with her frequency. Good. That was like, I'm at my aunt's house. She a pastor. I can't do that.
Wow, really? Everybody's bailing.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, Kennery, I ain't going no damn well.
I just like that picture. Come on with it. Picture. I thought people should look at
Come on with it. I got the T-shirt. Let's go. Man, you not hide. But Robert, come on. Have you ever? Let me rephrase that. Were you ever ill prepared for the level of freakdom that a woman you were dating brought to the table? That's a.
What Sean is trying to say, Robert, is have you?
Sean ain't trying to say shit. Sean said exactly what.
I was trying to soften it, Sean.
Yeah, I didn't want you to soften it.
Have you ever been turned out?
The women don't want to talking, Glenn.
Lost and turned out.
Right.
Well,
Robert,
you know I'm the
they're gonna
right.
distract me, brother. I'm get your answer.
I'm the lover of life. So yeah,
we can hear your heart beating fast off that.
Yeah,
question, too.
I've encountered some freaks or a freak.
You got boomeranged.
Did you pull the covers up, Robert? Like,
I was checking the feet and everything, man. I mean, yeah.
I've encountered some freaks. Let me just say this before we go around the table, because I do want y'all to know ain't none of y'all getting off. Well, when I say getting off, I mean,
oh my God,
wrong choice of words.
I'm gonna go drink.
Good night, folks.
Wrong choice of words. Yeah, you ain't gonna find nobody gonna run me away. I'm comfortable in every aspect at every turn, but I know some guys. I remember a guy telling me.
Wait a minute, the screen, the responses are lighting up.
They have gone crazy. Have you seen that?
I'm looking at the smiley faces and the hollering, and it's like,
right.
Mel is frozen.
No, that's
That's a serious look. That's all it is.
I think he was reading those comments.
Right.
He was reading the comments so intently, I thought he was frozen.
No, that's his. You know what you done. Look.
Right. No,
you know what you did.
Yeah.
You know what you don't do.
You know what you done did. That's what that look is.
Yeah. It's unlikely anybody ever gonna run me away. I'm quite uninhibited, but Robert, did you answer the question at all, or did you not?
Yeah, I said that. I've had a couple.
You met some freaks, right.
Yeah, I had some freaks that set the house on fire and everything, man. Yeah.
Set the house
so check this out. Only because I think this question of everybody here, I think this question makes Glenn the most uncomfortable. I'm gonna save him for last. Hey man, I want him to wait and think about it while he knows the question is coming his way. So Church Boy Kennery.
Kennery, wow. He had to start out with Church Boy.
Have you ever met a woman whose freak level was like, damn, I wasn't ready for that.
It was
I'm gonna answer that two ways. One way, I'm gonna borrow from Mel. I can neither confirm nor deny. The next response will be, Sean, don't be asking me that question because you already
on live TV, right?
That's all I'm gonna say, brother. That's all I'm gonna say.
Are we doing?
I know you thought about that too.
Yeah, I was slow, and I just want you all to know. I want the viewing audience and everybody watching to know that Kennery and I just had a moment that was just between the two of us, and you all will never know it or understand it. Woo! Hallelujah, salvation and glory. Glenn, I see your sweat beads on your.
I'm not sweating, dog. That's my shine. That's the glow.
Did Mel answer this question?
Nope. You gotta go to Mel. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have a problem answering it though. So for me,
I want to get a drink so bad, but this is good. I can't get up.
Go get a drink, bro. Go get a drink.
No.
So for me, I've taken those opportunities where I was, let's just say, pleasantly surprised and fascinated. I've taken those opportunities as learning lessons. Like, hold on, wait. That's possible?
What are you doing?
What you can do that all in 1 minute. Wait a minute.
And all this time, I used that in my kitchen.
You're like, I only read about it.
Have y'all seen that meme when my man is saying, "Unhand me"?
Bruh.
I've seen some things grow in the garden.
It's been years, but there was a prototype that opened my eyes to many many ways of the
A
world.
whole new world.
Bruh, was that Latin? I was on the flying carpet and everything. What movie was that? I was on it. Whatever it was. But she was older than me as well.
Yes, that is the point,
and,
Mel. Right there. That one.
Well, older ladies Kennery are comfortable with what they like and don't like. It's for you to get with. You know, I worked with a dude who said that he dated a lady, you know, that liked to be choked, and he acted like she was demented. And I was like, well, hell, give her my number. Because clearly you are behind the times.
Now, some of the young women now, you know, they know how to choke you too, brother.
What you know about the young women?
Yeah, but they
I'm
might
just
kill
saying.
you. They don't have the experience. They might kill you.
You're right.
Like what Kennery is saying is there's an art to choking.
Yeah, you have to fabricate it,
You
Glenn.
can't just go in there and crush your larynx.
Hey,
Yeah,
ain't
you have to
that how
fabricate
the dude that played Kung Fu, ain't that how he died?
Yeah.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
David Carradine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was some
combat.
kind of fetish gone wrong, you know.
Gots to be more careful.
Gots to. Yeah. That's that meme that's going around with what's my man that played in the Spider-Man movies? You know, he gets a lot of, you know, come on, Mel, you know him, he gets a lot of bad rap for he's a young white guy, James something, but he gets a lot of bad rap for being really hard to work with. He played who? No. He's a young guy. He played Franco. Yeah. There's a meme going around with him where it's like you go to choke your lady and she chokes you back harder and his face is like this and it says, unhand me.
I haven't seen that one.
Unhand me.
I ain't seen that one either, though.
Man, yeah, don't think I'm gonna get distracted. Yeah. It's your turn.
Who, me?
Your turn.
Little old me.
I see my new Clive fan watching. I hope he heard me just talking about him about 20 minutes ago. But anyway, yeah. Come on, Glenn. Don't try to get away with it.
So I can honestly say, you know, the biggest surprises come in the packages you least expect them to come in. Yep. Let me just put it that way.
Could be. That could be true.
So,
that's not an answer.
There has been a few surprises in my life, I can honestly say. You know, I won't go into detail. But some things.
Well, I think we're looking for the details.
I know some things just need to be a memory.
The devil is in the details, Glenn Murray.
The devil's in the detail. The devil.
They say the devil is in the details. Glenn say the devil is a lie.
The devil was that situation. That's what the devil was.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever met anyone that was, you know, more of a freak than I could handle because I'm usually the issue. But that's, you know.
my friends in the audience are telling me to plead the fifth, and I have to listen to them.
I think it would be wise. And
Stacy,
and I think collectively we would support you in pleading the fifth. You know.
Yeah.
Just, you know, we don't want anybody to get slapped.
I'll go back and I'll be like, wait a minute.
Touche. Hey man, we got about less than 10 minutes left, man. Y'all have been funny tonight. Let's take a lightweight turn on that same vein. What was the last crazy adventure you went on with a woman that you can share? I'm really not. Don't do the crazy adventures. I'm a pretty calculated.
Does the courtroom count? I'm asking for a friend.
Depends on what happened in the courtroom, Kenry.
Depends on who was in court, who was the plaintiff and who was the defendant.
Right, who had on the robe and who didn't.
And was this role play?
Right.
That was my next question.
Hey, here's my gavel.
Right.
You've been sentenced.
Right.
By Judge Kennery.
Right.
To my chambers we must go.
Let's take him to lockup right now. You know.
I plead.
So, yeah, Kennery, crazy adventure. You had one in the courtroom?
No, I was just kidding. I was talking about divorce. This is about divorce.
He was talking about the divorce.
Yeah, I'm talking. I knew what you
funny.
meant on the divorce thing, Kennery.
You would catch that, Robert. You would catch that, y'all.
No,
Y'all
but,
have that in common. I was totally in the dark.
Crazy adventure. I'd have to think about that.
Yeah, I can't really think of one, honestly. Yeah.
I think my last one was at the Charlie Club, so that tells you a lot.
That was a long time ago.
It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, I almost had a fight in the Charlie Club that was going to end up with me spending the rest of my life in jail.
I'm sure. It was kind of interesting down there.
I've heard stories about the Charlie Club. It closed before I moved here, so.
Well, only reason I say I was going to end up in jail was because the dude that I was getting ready to have a fight with was significantly bigger than me, and he was trying to get me to go with him to the bathroom to fight. Now, yeah. So now, what he didn't know, my brother was somewhere in the club, but my cousin, who actually might be watching tonight, my cousin was in the club. It was me and my brother and my cousin. But my cousin walked up while I was in the altercation with the dude. But my cousin didn't identify himself. He just stood there. Now, the dude's crew knew they didn't know him. And one of the dude's crew was like, "Are you with him?" And my cousin didn't commit. He just said, I'm just here. He didn't commit. And my cousin is not a dude you want to do that with at all on any level, right? So he's standing by. And me and the dude nose to nose. I know a little bit about the dude because he's with a group of wrestlers, and he's already bigger than me. I'm like, oh, this is not going to be an easy win. But what he was standing, if you remember the Charlie Club was like a 4-level club, and there was a stairwell right in the center, and so he was standing with his back to the rail, and so I was like, that's why I say I was going to jail. Because I was going to push his ass over the banister, and he had about four floors before he had any contact with anything. It wasn't going to be good. And luckily, somebody broke it all up or whatever. But I learned a valuable lesson that night because I saw that dude for a year, and he had no idea who I was. And that's why you don't have those kind of altercations, because I could get him at any time and him not know what it was even about. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't do that because,
I think a bigger lesson is don't have those type of altercations if they don't really matter. Right. Like, if he saw you for a year and didn't know who you were, apparently whatever it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah, to him. But it was big. But it was big to me. And so every time I saw that dude, I had to talk myself out of getting him because I knew he had no idea I was coming. But luckily I'm not that kind of dude. And I ended up, one of his buddies ended up owning a pizzeria in the south suburbs. And maybe about 10 years ago, I got hired to come do a show out there. And even to this day, the buddy, he always goes, "Man, you look so familiar to me." I go, "Yeah, you too." I never say why, but that night it was him and his crew and me and my brother, my cousin, in there. But anyway, back to the freak stories. Mel, did you answer that? I think you did.
I did.
He did.
I answered.
You're on the crazy adventure stories now.
Yeah.
It's the crazy adventure story.
Crazy to who?
Yeah, really. What's crazy?
Define
crazy. Define crazy because I've done
To
some
me?
things.
Yeah,
It's normal.
You talking about rom-com, or are we talking about?
Hey, if it don't involve
See, most of my crazy stories
little people,
involve.
I was getting ready to say midgets, but I get in trouble. If it don't involve, little people and animals, it's probably not crazy for me.
See, most of my crazy stories involve drinking. Like, okay, I started out here and ended up here.
I'm drinking now, so.
I went on a hip hop bar crawl in DC, and it was so cool.
Really?
Yeah, it was during Howard's homecoming. They have it every year during Howard's homecoming. But it's a hip hop bar crawl in DC, so you go to each bar and they're playing different types of hip hop music.
Oh, that's dope.
So, yeah, so it starts about 1 p.m. and ends probably like 3 or 4 a.m. And I probably should have gone home at 11. because I had started about 1 or 2, but I did, and I was with a couple of people and we were kicking it. And that was an adventure.
Hey man, real quick before we get out of here, any of y'all ever did y'all go to Freaknik?
I never went to Freaknik.
I never made it to Freaknik.
Never made it. I heard they're doing it again. Not that I want to go now at this age.
Yeah.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
Mel says with a big smile on his face that he did make it to Freaknik.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Kappa Beach Party. And
I was gonna say if you was in the frat by then, it was crazy.
Now the Kappa Seersucker and Sundresses party in Atlanta is something to behold as well.
Anything the Noops
to the Noops. Much respect to the Noops for that party.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Hey man, it's 9:55, and we got to get out of here, man. This was great as always, man. I enjoyed you cats, man, and this was no less than one of our best. Kennery, you can't say how much we appreciate you, man. Make sure you don't go anywhere, man. We need to chop it up a little bit. Thank you all for that hung out with us in Clubhouse last week. That was a real cool experience. And Robert, thank you for the leadership you provided, man, in that environment. I was neophyte, new to the game, and you helped me kind of get comfortable in that space. Everybody that's watching, I can't tell you enough. We so appreciate you. So thank you. We hope that you will come out this weekend, August 21st at 1 p.m., August 22nd, Sunday at 12 p.m. as we broadcast from the Black Women's Expo. Kennery Smith will bless us with his presence on Saturday in Mel's absence, and then Mel will be in his rightful place on Sunday. And so we're looking forward to that. And Yanni, X-rated host.
That's why you asked that question tonight, preparing.
The only panel that's going to need a safe word.
Absolutely. So we look forward, man, to hanging out with Yanni over this weekend as well, man. And just I used to rock with the Black Women's Expo back when Susan Stampley. You remember Susan Stampley, Kennery from Carter Temple? She used to have something to do with it. I got a chance to perform a couple of times way back when, man. So I'm looking forward to it. And hopefully everybody watching, man, will come down and hang out with us. Give us a COVID neck hug or something, just give us some love.
Just wave at me. I ain't hugging nobody.
I'm vaccinated. They can give me a church hug if they want.
Bro. That Delta variant don't care nothing about your vaccine.
Delta variant don't know that's right. You get a one arm from me. You get a one arm and a pat.
You get the Christian. Hey, Kennery, you get the Christian side hug.
Right. Side hug. That's right. You slide in and pat them on the back.
Hey, man. So you all come down and hang out with us Saturday and Sunday until Roger say you can pat him on the ass. That's safe.
Thank you, Roger, for
thanks, Roger.
Changing the
in the meantime, even though we're getting down at the expo on Saturday and Sunday, that doesn't mean we don't want you to meet us back here next Thursday at 9. So we have 3 times to kick it. So let's get them all in, and we'll see y'all next week. As always, next week live from the cave has been great. Love y'all.
Camped out at home for COVID? Join us, Indie TV, where you will see the talk shows, movies, drama, action, and comedy. Be the first and see it first. Sign up now for free at Indie TV.